Business success from Houston, Spain bringing back night trains, Irish innovation at the United Nations, and Melbourne cats with an official hall pass? Hey, this is the good news you need, and I'm Steve Rhode. I got stories from around the world that I wanted to share with you today. Plus a dad joke that's safe for kiddos and cars. All right, today's show, again, is brought to you by coffee, keeping us all awake and positive. All right, first up. So there's this guy named Darren Randall who started Houston Tents and Events back in 2020. Right when the world was shutting down for COVID. Not exactly the ideal time to launch an events company, right? Well, all these years later, his company just made the Inc. 5000 list for the second year in a row. That's the prestigious ranking of America's fastest growing private companies based on 3-year revenue growth. Here's why this matters. He started this business at literally the worst possible time for the events industry, and not only survived, but thrived so much that he's now recognized nationally 2 years running. It's proof that with the right approach and determination, you can build something successful, even when the timing seems terrible. Plus, he's creating jobs and economic opportunity in Houston. The company went from startup to national recognition in just 4 years. That's pretty impressive in any industry, let alone one that got hit so hard in 2020. Oh, and speaking of doing things differently, Spain just approved something called the Sustainable Mobility Law that's bringing some really interesting changes to how people get around the country. The biggest one? Night trains are coming back. Remember those romantic sleeper trains you see in old movies, where you go to sleep in one city and wake up in another? Spain's bringing them back. They're eliminating short domestic flights in favor of more sustainable options, like these overnight trains. What's cool about this is Spain's showing other countries you don't have to sacrifice convenience to be more environmentally friendly. Night trains let you travel while you sleep, skip the hassle of the airports, and arrive refreshed in the new city. Plus, they're way better for the environment than short-haul flights. It's a return to a more civilized way of traveling that a lot of people thought was gone forever. Sometimes the old ways really are better. Oh, here's something that made me smile. The Irish Agricultural Museum just donated a 1960s soil testing device to the brand new United Nations Food and Agriculture Museum in Rome. Now, I know a soil testing device doesn't sound that exciting, but here's the story. You see, back in the 1960s, 2 guys at Johnstown Castle in County Wexford, Ireland, invented this steel device that was so good at collecting uniform soil samples that it got adopted across the entire country. That led to nationwide soil mapping that genuinely transformed Irish agriculture and improved crop yields. The museum curator says it represents Ireland's journey from agricultural challenges to scientific innovation. And today, versions of these devices are still helping ensure food security around the world. Sometimes the most important innovations look pretty ordinary at the time, but they change everything. And now, one is part of history at the United Nations Museum. And one more. This one's just delightful. The city of Melbourne, Australia has done something wonderfully unusual. They've granted special permits to certain cats, allowing them to roam freely during the city's nighttime cat curfew. One of these lucky felines is named Kepler Copernicus, after the famous astronomer, which I love. These cats basically have official hall passes to break curfew. It's a quirky example of local government finding creative solutions while still maintaining responsible pet ownership. The cats had to meet certain conditions to qualify for their nighttime freedom pass. It shows a community that cares about both pet welfare and good policy, with just enough humor to make everyone smile. All right, time for your dad joke. Why do melons have weddings? a cantaloupe. That's your good news for today. I'm Steve Rhode, and I'm glad you were here. Links to all these stories are in the episode description. If this helps you today, share it with someone else who might need it. And hey, I'll be back next time if you want to join me again. You can also visit tapyournews.com for all the email notification lists. I also host True Crime Cases You Haven't Heard, a fascinating Resolved Cases podcast. Check it out, truecrimeunheard.com. See you next time.